Welcome to What the Feminine, where we will show the world how to have crucial, nuanced conversations and how healthy feminine and masculine embodiment are the gateway to global healing. I'm Nicole George, the CEO and founder of Sovereign Magazine, and as the host and moderator of this show, I'd like to remind our guests and audience that the questions posed in today's episode are neither a reflection of my personal beliefs, opinions, thoughts, or ideologies, nor of Sovereign Magazine's. They are simply a guide for all of us to go deeper into our constructed beliefs and ask ourselves, how can we remain open and curious to being recoded to a more compassionate, cohesive way of living? The content in this episode could contain references to topics and difficult subject matter that may be triggering for you. So please honor your inner knowing. And our show is never a substitute for professional guidance. Please always seek the guidance from a certified professional. So let's get to the show. I'm going to have the three gorgeous women introduce themselves today. So Jessica, why don't you go first?
I'm Jessica Frederic. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, so I'm a psychotherapist. I'm also a yoga teacher. This is my third baby, Bea. She is often with me in my sessions, so she will be here with us today. And I'm calling in from Naples, Florida.
Amazing. Akashka.
Hello, I'm calling in from Sweden and I am a psychologist, a health psychologist, a child counselor, and in my indigenous roots that I'm honoring, I'm also a seer for the soul, so a soul activist, and I'm really happy to be here today.
I am as well. And we are blessed with Akashka's presence. She doesn't always show her face. So if she happens to disappear, it's because she's getting interference and might need to take a break. Heather, where are you calling in from and what's your bio?
Uh, my name is Heather, and I'm calling from Canada, British Columbia. And I am a pattern recognitioner. And I work with numerology, specifically the Destiny of Cards system. And I work with families, youth, as well as women mostly, to help delineate patterns from past so they can live the future of a sovereign life.
Yes, yes. And today we are talking about an amazing subject that I desperately want to know more about, which is somatic wisdom, listening to the body's feminine language. And we all have feminine language. We all have a feminine and masculine way of being. It's not a girl or guy thing. It's actually a structural thing. So if you think of masculinity, it's strategy and structure, whereas femininity is flow and ease. But we're going to learn about what somatic wisdom is. So I would love for each of you to define what somatic wisdom is for you. Who wants to go first?
I'll just keep going first, I guess.
Okay.
I'll get it out of the way. So I am actually recently trained in somatic therapy, and I feel that because I came to my own definition of what somatic wisdom is, that it made most sense to me. It's really our body talking to us. From my therapeutic lens, what I notice a lot is humans are so lost in their head that they're disconnected from their body. And so they have zero clue what their body is trying to tell them. And so that's pretty foundational in how I function as a therapist, is just getting people, usually women, connected with their body, with the signals, with what's real, what's not, and being able to better tend to themselves and care for themselves.
Yes, 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 yes to all of that. Okay, who wants to go next?
Like, go. Oh, no, you go, Heather. Did you
Oh,
feel it?
yeah.
I got positively triggered by something, but you go for it, love.
Yeah. For me, it's always been the body's wisdom. The body's wise beyond recognition. And it's about giving ourselves a chance to slow it down, to hear what the body has to say, where it's stored its information, the sensations, the frequencies that want to come from it. I've always returned back to my body. As a physical being that wanted to understand what she was getting from here, but this was never computing with what she was getting from her body. I've trained in somatic well over 10 years ago. I did my somatic training when I first started out, and it was always returning people back to what they could feel versus what they could think.
Mm-hmm. am such a thinker and I have to move myself out of my head into my body so often. Okay, Akashka.
Yeah. I feel really honored to be with women who have specialized in this. It was actually, I'm coming from a space where embodiment has been very tricky. So I felt that today was a step into an experience that's out of my comfort zone. And also maybe to speak about it from a lens that I had to curate over time from that personal struggle. So when I think of somatic wisdom from this space, um, for me, it's a type, at the beginning, I remember of my career, it was very much thinking in terms of bio-neuroemotion or thinking in terms of, for example, I loved systemic psychology. So it was the unconscious of the family. So to observe how somebody's somatic, like from literally, if they just did this gesture from micro gestures to macro, I remember being just like at the beginning going, oh, and how that was revealing of sort of systemic things that could liberate. At the time, I was dealing with amazing, incredible women who were just liberating themselves in the form of these movements in silence. And then over, let's say, a lot of years, it came down to a truth from a soul space that the body was conveying in amazing discernment if we were available to it, and in a huge offering to us. I felt so my body is continually offering me this possibility of communication. It never stops wanting that interconnectedness. But I think it was only when I leaned into Gaia completely from my ancestral roots, my tribal space, and from being with children, actually, and how it was if I'm connected to her consciousness and I can lean into my body as an expression of a truth that we're connected by, then I can say, I'm here. So it became through Gaia, actually. I had to leave all my intellectual labels, all the ways I'd as a woman, and I don't know if this is triggering, if we can say things like this, so forgive me, but as a rape survivor, I remember sort of that disconnect, right? That took me decades to kind of go, oh my gosh, what is a connected pleasure for me, and how do I respond? And I think I just wanted to say something that just came now as because Jessica said what's real, and I was like, ooh, I got goosebumps. And Heather, when you said just to feel and not to think, and it was sometimes when we're close to certain energies, especially women from a in my father's tribe, the tribe I come from, we venerate women. So it's very much like this, women as sort of a vessel for a truth that wants to be spoken through the body and the soul. So when I've noticed women speak of their reactions in their bodies next to, for example, predatorial energies, threatening energies, and they'd say they were freezing up, I had to learn over a long period of time that that wasn't just a fear mechanism. It wasn't a trauma in itself exposing it wasn't it wasn't a mechanism of safety, let's say, of trying to provide myself safety, but it was also this really specific compulsion, we were starting to call it as we were investigating it with my people, where some of these extraordinary sensitive women were so taken over by what they were around, by that threatening energy, that they didn't actually control their movement. It's sort of like their energy was in shock by being into contact with something so different to their nature. And I impact their body's response. And so that took me fully away from, let's say, the psychology hat. And with you guys today, I think this is the longest I'm going to speak, but with you guys today, it was like, I'm going to say this because it's much more fine-tuned, let's say, but it's sort of, for me, before speaking about the body, it's probably the intention of movement or the intention of the body, I think, is where I'm coming from today, is the wisdom. And I'm not speaking for myself. I really feel I'm not. So anyway, that's that. I'm done.
Well, first, I'm very transparent. I am not only a survivor of, I just say SA just in case the algorithm gets upset at us, but also of other traumas as well. And so thank you for being so open about that as a survivor as well. And I can definitely identify with all three of your definitions because, like I said, I'm stuck in my head, got to feel more in my body. But then I also feel this energetic connection to needing to be more in my body, and almost this forgotten ancestral sense to it all. And I shared with Akashka, I had Gaia come through in a visualization the other day for the first time. And so that was a very beautiful feeling that I've never felt before. So it was really, really different for somebody who is so heady to be in the body. And Akashka and I had a crazy podcast. Can't wait for it to come out. So anyway, what I want to share is more about how each of you navigate this somatic language with your body, right? Each of us has a different way of getting to connect with our body, connect with Gaia, whatever that way is. And I'd love for you to share some of your ways so that people can have some takeaways and be like, oh, I might go try that. So, who would like to share your way of having a somatic language with your body? Jessica.
So for me, because I went through yoga teacher training, that was kind of like the aha moment of why isn't everyone doing this, right? It's a moving meditation and you're told how to tune into your body in ways that you probably won't. Like, okay, I'm standing right now, but you could easily be off kilter, right? Your posture could be off. You could easily not be super grounded. And so having those very specific cues, the language, is so helpful to recognize, oh, I can actually feel, my femur in my hip bone. I can feel what my body is like interoceptionally, is that probably not the right word, but where I am in space, how can I move myself in different directions? And then the more we do that, the more that we're recognizing, okay, if someone tells me, right, to put my right hip back, I know how to do that. Then the more that I'm going to be aware if there's a sensation in my right hip or what that person's energy was bringing up in me, because all of that now becomes information that hopefully I can identify. And a lot of times I tell people, please look up the emotion wheel. We're not taught a lot of emotion language. So we're happy, mad, or glad, maybe, right? Like we don't know anything else. And so we need this language because saying that everything is anxiety or saying that everything is annoying to you doesn't quite resonate with your body the same as I'm disgusted by that. Disappointed by that, or I'm feeling betrayed by that, right? Like your body is trying to tell you deeper things and you're just trying to say it's anxiety. Like we need to get in there, give it its words, give it its moment, acknowledge it, feel it, validate it, and it will leave. It will leave.
I love this. Every time I have any type of call with somebody, people give me words and access to things that I've been searching for. And that's exactly the experience that I have at the gym. I do tons of downward dogs and all this stretching. I do all my workout too, but I love that part the most. And I think it's because I'm connecting in with my body and like, oh, I need to lean into that a little bit more. So thank you for sharing that today because now it really resonates. I'm like, I'm doing somatic work and didn't even know it.
Most people are and they don't know it, right? Like for me, it's really been about, well, part of that, what Jessica had to say with, like, I did big yoga practice. I have a yoga practice that I've been with for a long time. Nature has been one piece. I grew up in the north, and this winter was the first time I struggled with winter because we didn't get the snow, we didn't get the cold where I live, and I'm used to that. My body wanted that. So I actually stayed inside more than I would normally do in a winter season. And I was wondering what was going on, why my body was like not wanting to be there. And I was really listening, and it was like it wanted cold weather.
Mm-hmm.
It desired that feeling that I get, like I ski. So that I skied more than I would normally do because I needed that wintering weather. My body really wanted that feeling for hibernation. Because it was used to -20 all its life, and it was no longer getting it this winter. The biggest thing for me continuously is self-massage, as a somatic practice to be in tune with myself. So taking my towel and just like starting with rubbing with my hands and like working through each of the joints and feeling what that feels like in my hands. I'm starting to get pains in my elbows when I'm not even carrying things. So it's like, what's happening with my body? What is it trying to tell me that I'm missing in the busyness of life? And so it was connecting with each of those parts. And then kind of what does your elbow carry? What kind of information can it tell you about yourself? You know, what are you holding on to? And just getting in tune with that part of my body has been a really big self-expression. And I lose myself. It's like meditation too. Like I was massaging my feet and I was like, oh, my husband's like, you just did that for like 15 minutes. And I was like, I didn't even know time existed, right? You just forget because it feels so good and your body actually enjoys that touch reaction.
I love that you said that. Do you know I was doing massage in my right hip this morning? I was like, here we go with that masculine side. Everything's always on the right, Nicole, because you're always in your head and working on the right.
That could be a little bit more towards the control part, right? When I was really trying to control life, that right side of my body wanted to speak really loudly to get into more of the flow. And when we're truly trying to hold things together in that construct of masculine energetics, sometimes the feminine energy comes in and says, okay, how can you soften here?
Yes, I'm trying to soften. That's why I'm massaging. I'm softening. I
Yeah.
am. Kashka, what about you? What do you do?
Wanted to give you a cuddle there when you said I'm
I
trying to.
know, right?
I'm like, oh, let's cuddle up. Oh, my darling. It's gonna sound more abstract, I think, because simply from where I'm coming, but I love this. I love this different languages, but we're going to the same place, no? I think where I've noticed most where I have to have talks with myself is when I'm confusing productivity with being productive from a place that I'm actually choosing. So we've started calling it in my house like sacred productivity. So, and I have really dear friends who we've been speaking about it just from that space of like, what am I serving? What is, sorry, nature just coming. What is my movement serving? What am I moving for? Those questions for myself are anchors because as a continual seer, if I don't ask myself the right questions, I'll find myself serving something that has nothing to do with my will. And so that's been something. And I know it's going to sound, but for me, dealing with my hair is when I talk to myself in my most honest way. So it'll just be sort of, I'll be there and I'll be reminded of how to connect my energetical hygiene with my physical connection and not just remain. Because for me, the way that I bridged myself to the body was thinking, how can I cleanse my space enough to be able to feel like I'm in my body and I'm not mediuming anything else. So actually like talk to myself how as I'm dealing with my hair and my daughter's beautiful Jamaican hair that is a constant master for me. When like, when I'm there, she's a huge reminder that I can't rush anything, that I can't bypass anything. I think that's a huge word for me. When it comes to dealing with the way she speaks about it. Yes, mommy, because my hair is sacred and I'm here for this. And she's 3 and I'm thinking, yeah, so we're going to integrate our prayer in this moment and and instead of it being, I'll get the hair done to then go and do the things that I feel to be productive or productive. So that's my language, I guess, with myself, my prompts.
I love this so much as a mother of a mixed child and a daughter as well. And Jessica has 3 daughters. How many? You have a daughter as well, Heather, right?
I do. And she has
Yes,
very,
yes.
very red curly hair.
Yes, so all curly-haired children, we know the time that it takes to do hair in these houses. Oh my, yes. And there are many sacred moments. Well, as we are kind of winding down the show, I always like to give takeaways so that people can have the opportunity to walk away from this conversation where we're talking about somatic movements, connecting with our body, connecting in with Gaia, connecting in with our soul, whatever your language is, But I always love one takeaway because all of us did not start out this way. I had no idea this world existed at all just 6 years ago. And I needed to start somewhere. And my somewhere was as I was standing doing dishes. I tell this story all the time. I heard myself say, I just want you to go sit down for 15 minutes.
Mm.
I started having the battle. No, I got to get the dishes done, got to do this. Da, da, da. And that's where I started. I sat down for 15 minutes. That was my somatic first moment that I can remember where I honored what my body needed in that moment. And after 15 minutes, I got up and I finished the dishes.
Mhm.
But it was just that first time that I listened to my body speaking to me and what I needed in that moment. So I'd love for each of you to share either the same type of moment or one thing that you do to help you get yourself in the somatic space because each of us is going to have a different experience. And I would like this to be as relatable as possible to all the people listening because somebody might say to themselves, oh, yeah, the dishes. I wanted to sit down the other day too, right? And as they hear your story, they will resonate with something. So, Jessica, why don't you go first if we were sticking with the theme here?
Yeah.
Well, I love that you brought up stillness because I do think a lot of people, when you start talking about somatic movement or, somatic information, that they automatically assume that it is all movement, but stillness is still you're in your body having an experience, right? And oftentimes we're busying ourselves to run away from that stillness, to run away from what comes up in that stillness. So I guess I'll do a generalized approach, which is we need a combination of both. So you need movement and you need stillness. So what does that look like for you? Like my movement can teeter from lifting really heavy things and putting them down to yoga, right? And stillness can be this meditation to just taking that deep breath and checking in on your posture because it gets a little out of whack throughout the day, and those are tools I offer clients in the midst of session, when they're telling a story and they're getting reactivated by their experience. Well, sometimes that's not going to be helpful to allow that to continue, so let's just take that deep breath. Let's put our hand on our heart, and let's see what comes up. And usually things that they're initially telling me, right, like I feel, but then there's actually no emotion word after the I feel. It's a small thesis of things, turns into tears because they took the breath, because they actually tuned in with themselves, because I forced them maybe to touch their heart and to recognize, oh, I can be here, which is very different than here.
Yeah. I'm just laughing at myself. You guys are going to see me swaying. I was swaying, rocking the baby because she was moving. I started to sway.
Thank you,
I was
Nicole. I
like,
was
stop
doing
that,
this,
Nicole.
but there's like, oh, then I'm like, what am I looking like? I swear, I just wanted to good the cheeks the whole time. I'm like, talk about somatic.
I know. Here we are talking about movement and stillness, and I'm like, yep, I've got the baby too. I'm rocking her too.
Well,
But that's
hello.
such a beautiful example of stillness in movement. And I'll do that even just like just standing still, staring out the window, maybe holding my cup of warm water, just because I like that kind of sensation in my hand. But just swaying can also be meditation. And it's
Mhm.
sort of like mimicking the wind. I have these big, beautiful like grass in my backyard, and I love watching them move when the wind is moving. It's so relaxing and it is so somatic. And watching your body experience that through the witnessing of nature, for me has always been the most like blessing. And so for me, it is also then like planting all fours on the ground.
Mhm.
So really getting my hands into the earth or on, even if it's just pavement, because that's where you are if you're in the city and you can only get that kind of sensation, but it's just putting it and feeling it. I just recently had an experience where I utilized rapé or hape medicine, and what I could feel coming from the earth. It's one of these medicines that really wants you to connect with Gaia. And it was like the lady said, you look like you were just constantly moving your hands because I could feel her own energy. And I was like really connected in it. Whereas everyone else was vomiting, I was not. Because that can happen when you take these types of plant medicines. And I was just like right in it. And she was like, and I could feel like it was almost I could feel all the way to the core. And when we give ourselves those opportunities to truly feel, even if there's not a word for it, because there's a lot of my clients who are like, I can't even put a word to the sensation that I'm feeling. And so then identifying where it's showing up in your body can help us to find the language.
100%. I often don't have words for
Yeah.
how I'm feeling, and then I have to get to the closest thing. And I
Yeah.
love that. I love that you were also bringing everything back to nature, because Akashka
Yeah.
lives out in the woods
Like right now, the
because
mosquitoes are just loving
It's
me.
amazing.
Like, I'm like,
yes.
oh, I can be here with the mosquitoes.
Yes. Why don't you go?
Little darling, yeah. No, I'm just so into listening to you guys that I lost my place. But I think that the feeling was when you both were speaking, you inspired me to remember that we can ask for help
Mm.
from Gaia, from nature. So normally the extraordinary women I have the privilege, let's say, of writing for or serving, they're actually extraordinarily intelligent. And I'm like, that's, for the whole embodiment experience. And so I'm literally saying, I'm just going to go out to Gaia. I'm saying this a lot to my daughter as well when I'm absolutely emotional because I've been feeling too much and especially processing a lot of the subconscious at night. I'll just go outside, not have it figured out at all, and ask, just sort of stand and ask for help.
Mm.
And I'm noticing just even that action, I'm actually asking my body to inform me of what that looks like. And how many a time it's okay, I would say, again, you guys inspired me with this, to say that stillness is frightening when we've experienced our body in a way that has felt imprisoned.
Mm.
Sort of we're forced to live experiences outside of our alignment, outside of our rhythms, outside of our consent, outside of our own will, our sacred will, and that then we might need some more time and a lot more compassion to manage what stillness looks like for us. And like you guys, you so beautifully said, stillness is not always stillness in the, let's say, the complete stop, but that it has a gentleness or a compassion space or a sense of rest or a framework like the long grass that you're mentioning that can provide us that feedback that we're alive and it doesn't have to be easy, but that we're there for ourselves. Just sometimes when it's too much or I'll have a lot of the flashes of of memories, I'll just hold on to something within Gaia and just acknowledge, okay, I'm feeling you, this is a lot for you and for me, and we're here together. And that small gesture that we're not alone. I think we need that a lot right now. I'm just seeing a lot of extraordinary women just surrendering with a lot less fear now, because it's this sensation of what do we have to lose really at this point.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to express that. Inspired.
As you can tell, this is why we do these shows. I mean, just three magical women from three different continents, and well, technically two. Technically two. How about we say three different countries?
Fun.
We'll say that. Technically two. And just absolutely, I mean, just mind blowing every single time. And so thank you all for being here today. If you've enjoyed this show, like, share, subscribe. It helps us reach more in the algorithm. All of their details will be in the show notes, so you can connect with all of them. They're also in our community.sovereign-magazine.com. So come connect with each of them. Sending you love. Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.